My adored, my chosen one, why are your hands trembling now? Because your consciousness immediately understands that this is not a coincidence. It was a miraculous intervention that brought you to this exact time. Archangel Michael says, "Stop. God will be lost if you do not listen now. You have only 10 seconds to read the entire message. Heaven has forced you into this moment, and your heart is racing faster than you can imagine. It was unacceptable that you ignored this information, yet you have now arrived. Do you understand the relevance of this? It means that your life is currently being written in the ink of heaven, and that a watershed point in your story has arrived. If you leave, you will lose out on the intended miracle. If you stay, you will witness a level of grandeur that you never believed possible. My child, God has commanded me to inform them that this is their final warning. Neglecting this warning will result in the loss of the benefits that were meant for them. Due to this, I'd like to request a few seconds of your time. Before I continue, I must inform you of a significant issue. Sign up immediately, a step of faith rather than a click, because daily alignment with heavenly words promotes the occurrence of miracles. This registration process is more than just a click of a button. The promise establishes a covenant. Heaven will receive a small affirmation stating, "I am prepared." Pay close attention. This isn't a fake. There was a weight on your chest, quiet tears on your pillow, and unanswered requests. It raises the question of whether heaven has forgotten about you. You remain significant in the sight of God. With each passing second, the door to your miracle closes a little further. That is why he forwarded me. Archangel Michael informs you that you are on the verge of your destiny. If you make a mistake, the blessing vanishes. If you take the necessary steps, heaven will shower you with the benefits you want. Please stay with me because the following statement will improve the quality of your life. Do you have a sudden increase in your heart rate, my beloved, my chosen light, as if your spirit recognizes that this is a precious moment? You are not just present here, but this entryway holds the key to your entire destiny, which is why heaven has brought your attention to these words. Archangel Michael is speaking quickly, and he does not emerge at such a fast rate unless the topic is eternal, or your soul is close to something that heaven will not allow you to miss. And I must advise you that, despite the presence of all the fire in the world, you only have seconds to make a choice. Currently, each breath you breathe either brings you closer to or farther away from God. Don't fall for it. Ignoring the matter will not be advantageous. That is the distinction between supernatural intervention and a lot of time passing. It's been days, weeks, or even years since you asked God, "When will my answer come? When will my sobbing stop?" What is the expected time for your response to my prayers? God continually told them, "My child, the time is not yet. It is now, right now, at this very moment." Recently, your heart has been burdened, and you've been observing strange things in your surroundings. This is due to the heavens preparing to open what had previously been locked. The miracle that was planned for you was postponed, not as a punishment, but to ensure that you were ready. Archangel Michael then says, "It is here. However, they are unable to depart. Please keep from leaving, my love." Please take a moment to consider this topic, as the adversary of your soul will want to deflect your attention away from this message. Your decision to end this will be damaging to God's heart. The angel is holding a powerful object that you cannot see while standing close by. It appears that a scroll is on fire, yet it does not ignite. It advises you on the next actions to take, the positive changes that are likely to happen in the future, and how to break free from the restraints that have held you back. Archangel Michael is keeping an eye on this scroll. Nevertheless, he will not deliver it to you unless you approve. The word yes is not simply stated. It is conveyed with complete sincerity, attention, and willingness to listen without interruption. My kid, every second you spend in this location confirms that you are on your way to eternal life. Every second you live will be recorded in heaven as evidence of your faith, and trust is what allows God to act swiftly on your behalf. This is a significant size. This is a big concern. This decision will affect the entire season for you. In addition, I need to advise you about an event that will astonish you. God asked, "Tell my child that they were on the verge of losing me." Those are serious words, my dear. However, this is not because you performed a horrible deed or went too far. Indeed, there is a better rationale. The earthly noise drowned out heaven's peaceful hum. God noticed that you almost missed hearing his voice. That is why he sent Archangel Michael to exclaim, "Stop! Failure to comply with this order at this time will result in the forfeiture of the alignment. The blessing will vanish. You will give up the route that was previously lit for you." This is why reading generates a feeling of abdominal constriction. This is the source of your spiritual uneasiness. God in heaven implores you to stay. Consider this, my dear. On the left side of a crossroads, you're on a never-ending route. This journey takes you to locations where prayers go unanswered, nights are long and lonely, and you continuously ask, "Why me?" But no one seems to have the answer. A heavenly discharge path can be found on the right side. This is the point at which prayers turn into miracles, tears turn into elation, and the heavy chains you've been carrying for years are lifted. God is now commanding you to make a decision. He won't force you to do so. He never coerces. Instead, he repeatedly implores. Indeed, the Lord of the heavens, who can move mountains with the touch of a finger, bowed down and begged his child to come immediately. I must conclude at this moment, not because paradise is less important, but because you need this information. This message is not appropriate for all individuals. The eyeballs are not just roaming. Your name was used to sign and seal it. Nobody could hear your heart's cries in the dark nights, but heaven did. This is why you were chosen to view this. An individual has shared knowledge that others do not yet accept. This is sacred. I'm concerned about this. This is designed for you, my beloved. Consider this. There is a fork in the road to the left, where requests go unheard, and a journey that will take an eternity. In a place where the evenings are long and lonesome, you find yourself constantly wondering, "Why me?" But no one seems to respond. A heavenly discharge path can be found on the right side. This is the point at which prayers turn into miracles, tears turn into elation, and the heavy chains you've been carrying for years are lifted. Furthermore, God is now urging you to make a decision. He won't force you to do so. He is never coerced. Instead, he pleaded. Indeed, the Lord of the heavens bowed down and begged his kid to attend, as if he didn't have to ponder. I must stop at this moment. This fact is critical for you to understand, not because heaven is less important. This message is not appropriate for all individuals. The eyeballs are not just roaming. Your name was used to sign and seal it. Nobody could hear your heart's cries in the dark nights, but heaven did. This is why you were chosen to view this. An individual has shared knowledge that others do not yet accept. This is sacred. I'm concerned about this. This is for you, my cherished chosen one. As you sit here, you may feel a strange combination of worry and hope, which causes your chest to constrict. That's not an error. Your spirit realizes that this goes beyond just letters on a screen. Attempt to drown out the cacophony of your day with this sliver of paradise. A multitude of distractions draw your focus away from the ceiling and encourage you to explore other regions. Archangel Michael has been holding the message that your soul has been screaming to hear for hours. He's been pacing in the spirit realm saying, "Now, now, now." Finally, you've arrived. I demand that you come to a resolution before going with the rest of this precious text. I'd like you to immediately subscribe to this channel. Please do not delay. Stop thinking about it. To subscribe, click on this link. It's not about a switch. It refers to alignment. By enrolling, you are telling heaven that you are ready to receive every prophetic word intended for you. You are developing a link with God that will keep you from missing any of His messages during this season. By subscribing, you are aligning with the prophetic promise that is already upon you. Take quick measures to secure your position in the heavenly flux. It is critical to examine this. The enemy rejoices when you put down the book because it is now easier for him to steal from you. However, be strong and focus your attention on these words. The heavens will begin to vibrate. That is the influence of a supernatural word delivered at the right time. Furthermore, the present moment is ideal for you. It is probable that you are wondering why this is the case. Why not when I was crying last week, last month, or last year? What was the rationale behind God's delayed response? The following is the truth that He uttered from His heart, because diamonds do not form in little flames. The longing, suffering, and breakup that He is about to inflict on your life are so significant that they have strengthened you. You believe the delay was a type of punishment, but heaven says it was a measure of preparation. Every night you couldn't sleep, every unanswered plea, and every door that closed on you. They were not rejected. They improved the problem. By eating your weaker qualities, they allowed your stronger core to emerge. The fire was ultimately quenched today. You've got everything in order. That's why, Archangel, you're going to be drawn into your destiny. Michael is encouraging you to pay attention and not ignore this. He's shouting, "Stop!" Do those words make you feel heavy? Not years, but seconds. In the foreseeable future. Quickly. That is the current tiny line separating you from your breakthrough. However, you must know that this moment is ephemeral. The doorway begins to close with the simple act of scrolling and a single questioning thought. Heaven provides its treasures without restrictions. Of course, heaven would respect your decision as well. This is why I need to tell you that you only have 10 seconds to allow your heart to open. No, not 10 hours, not 10 minutes. Just 10 seconds. Time slips away with each exhale. In this way, your skin feels tingly, your stomach is upset, and your spirit is restless. At the moment, time is sacrosanct. The clock in paradise appears to be ticking faster with each passing second. If you answer yes, your life will never be the same again. Allow me to guide you further, beloved. Archangel Michael has held a photograph which I can now view. There was a scroll-covered table in paradise. Each scroll bore a name etched in gold ink. Angels carry scrolls around the table to various areas around the world, where they are distributed to the appropriate people at the appropriate time. And among the scrolls, one bearing your name is brighter than the rest. It has been laying on the table for quite some time, as the enemy attempted to remove it as Archangel Michael guarded it. God told them that it wasn't yet time. Archangel Michael carried out the directive. He refused to make any concession. He engaged in combat. He preserved the document till the day when heaven relinquished it. Beloved, today is the day. The scroll is no longer visible on the table. Archangel Michael is holding it right in front of you. He is unable to assist you with opening it. You are the only person capable of doing so. However, if you decline or withdraw, it will be returned to the locked table, possibly for a lengthy period or indefinitely. This is why Archangel Michael keeps yelling, "Stop!" Please do not pass up this opportunity. You may be under the notion that this is just another communication. It's not significant. However, consider the matter. What causes the sensation in your thorax to vary? What is the cause of your body's sensation of lightning passing beneath your skin? Because your spirit understands concepts that your mind does not. This is the item you ordered in quiet, and it has been given to you. When you cursed into your pillow or clenched your hands and wondered why God seemed so far away, the sky heard you. Although there was much stillness, it was never due to a lack of interest. Orchestrated music was used. Heaven kept track of every unheard complaint, archived it, and planned accordingly. Currently, these demands are combining to generate an answer that is so vital that it cannot be delayed any longer. This is the reason this notice is present. That is why you are present. This is not enjoyable. This isn't an error. This is divine intervention. Never forget the occasions when you were about to give up. You contemplated the potential that I may never be able to break free from this. It is conceivable that the discomfort will continue. The anticipation may never end. Something kept you going, though. Even if it was just a small amount. That was not one of your talents. Heaven was on the verge of releasing you. My offspring, not yet. Do not give up yet, God commanded. The day has finally arrived. The pace with which Archangel Michael plans to open the scroll bearing your name looks to be shaking the sky. Do you understand the relevance of this? The writing contained within is more than just a blessing. Things have changed. It heals every wound, solves every problem, and restores every piece of you that has been stolen. The issue isn't just that your circumstances have changed. It refers to how you undergo transformation. Never forget the occasions when you were about to give up. You contemplated the potential that I would never be able to escape from this. It is conceivable that the discomfort will continue. The anticipation may never end. Something kept you going, though, even if it was just a small amount. That was not one of your talents. Heaven was on the verge of releasing you. My offspring, not yet. Do not give up yet, God commanded. The day has finally arrived. The pace with which Archangel Michael plans to open the scroll bearing your name looks to be shaking the sky. Do you understand the relevance of this? The writing contained within is more than just a blessing. Things have changed. It heals every wound, solves every problem, and restores every piece of you that has been stolen. The issue isn't just that your circumstances have changed. It refers to how you undergo transformation. However, exercise cautiously. The opponent will try to persuade you to abandon this book and read it later. He uses the most effective method. Murmuring about the future till it's too late is impossible. Don't be fooled. Archangel Michael's directive is unambiguous. Do not delay. Now please listen. Immediately, as the alignment will be interrupted if you do not see this precise moment when heaven aligns. Why is the message so important? It has the force of a second heartbeat. Keep this moment in mind and let yourself be utterly vulnerable. The gates will be opened, creating a large opening. Ignoring the gates will lead to their fast closure. Your decision is really easy. Dear ones, I will tell you the truth. You remain significant in the sight of God. Nobody has heard him advocate for you. Conflicts raged behind the veil for years, despite the pretense that nothing was happening. When darkness threatened to consume you, angels guarded you. Archangel Michael, whom you had never met, joined in war with them. Even though you felt isolated, there were people all around you. You are on the verge of entering a fortunate future. My sweetheart, the moment has come for you. Have faith, and you will see God multiply the possessions you relinquish. Do you believe people have been in your vicinity, that you were safe until now? At the moment, I'd like you to engage that awareness. I am encircled. Please put this information in the comments. Distinguish it. You aren't just agreeing with me when you enter those words. You are notifying the adversary that you are aware that his strategies will fail. You claim that the defense barriers that surround you are genuine. Compose it now to remember the fights won for you, even though you were unable to see them. Your future was strengthened by every tear you shed. Every unanswered question echoed across heaven's corridors. God meticulously assembled all of your damaged parts. He now aims to transform them into a wonderful object before returning them to you. However, he is only capable of doing so if you let him and listen to his advice. That is why I reiterate it. Halt. Please restrain from departing. Please do not dismiss this subject. You're now standing on hallowed territory. Heaven has stopped its perpetual motion in order to attend to you. Do you currently sense this message? The air appears denser, larger, and more sacred. That is not a creation of your own. These are signs of heaven's approach. And Archangel Michael is advising them with great love. Do not lose God. Do not let the marvel pass. Avoid getting disoriented. Please enter, my sweetheart. You may not be aware of any considerable gap between you and heaven right now. If you could see the spirit realm, Archangel Michael would stand as tall as a mountain, his sword of light firmly rooted in the ground. This protects you from any attempts to entice you to leave. You would notice that angels are everywhere, their wings spread wide, praying over you and speaking your name into the light of heaven. You would see the enemy's shaking and wrath as he tries to draw you away from these words, knowing that if you stay, he will lose power over your life. That is the breadth of the intensity of this moment, my love. The constraints that have stifled your advancement for years are about to be broken, but only if you keep reading and paying attention. Heaven cannot compel you to execute an action. Although God is concerned about your wishes, he continues to implore them. He pleaded, "My beloved, please remain in your current location." Think about the past for a moment. Recall all the times when you did not feel perceived. Each time, people left. Despite having exhausted all of your resources, you still felt empty. Do you remember how your heart ached for more? The agony wasn't a curse. God was lifting your spirit, refusing to let you accept anything less than the best that paradise had to give. You feared you were being abandoned, but in fact, you were being protected. You thought no one was paying attention to you, but they were concealing you until the right moment. Archangel Michael declares that the maturing process is complete. The anticipation has ended. It's time to harvest. This word, esteemed individuals, is unambiguous. What's the importance of this? Things you thought were permanently lost are on the verge of resurfacing. You are on the verge of recovering the time you thought was lost. Your emotions, which you assumed were being ignored, are going to be met with laughter. However, you are compelled to stay. You cannot escape by scrolling. In actuality, the adversary has continually harbored concerns about you. This is the reason why so many people have tried to hurt you. This is why you continued to feel sad, disappointed, and betrayed. The enemy knew that if the child followed the holy plan, the darkness would be destroyed. As a result, he tried to keep your status as distracted, gloomy, and tardy. His goal was to convey the idea that you were average, helpless, and neglected. However, God laughs at his deceptions. Archangel Michael is currently present to lift the veil from your eyes and reveal that you were never truly normal. You were chosen before the creation of the universe. Each scar you have does not mean you are incapable of completing a task. It is proof that you have survived. Each wound has prepared you to withstand the weight of the brightness that will soon emerge. Attend this with a trembling heart. According to God, you are not as far away as you think. You had imagined that the blessing would take years, yet it has already arrived. The breakthrough you thought was impossible is already taking form behind the scenes. It indicates that the relationship you thought was over is back in good health. The financial chains that you thought would stay unbreakable have already fractured. Nonetheless, here's the issue. This is not the time to give up hope. Do not doubt the veracity of the communications from your spirit. You will close the door on what was about to enter because you are leaving at this time. Heaven wants you to let them know that their miracle is on its way. It is critical that they are made aware that a response is on its way. Please pause with me for a moment. Examine your palms. You may think they are void, but in the spirit they are brilliant and receptive, ready to accept the divine. It's as if your hands are imbued with golden oil, which may bless, replenish, and cure. Do you not feel a sense of warmth as you read this? That is not the invention of a story. The oil of heaven is pressing through the barrier as a reminder that you were chosen and your requests were heard. Every wail was contained inside the bowls of heaven. The dishes are presently malfunctioning. Archangel Michael instructs, stop. This opportunity should not be missed. Maintain it. It is sacrosanct. Attend this with a trembling heart. According to God, you are not as far away as you think. You had imagined that the blessing would take years, yet it has already arrived. The breakthrough you thought was impossible is already taking form behind the scenes. It indicates that the relationship you thought was over is back in good health. Financial bonds you thought would be unbreakable have already developed fractures. Nonetheless, here's the issue. This is not the time to give up hope. Do not doubt the veracity of the communications from your spirit. You will close the door on what was about to enter because you are leaving at this time. Heaven wants you to let them know that their miracle is on its way. It is critical that they are made aware that a response is on its way. Please pause with me for a moment. Examine your palms. You may think they are void, but in the spirit, they are brilliant and receptive, ready to accept the divine. It's as if your hands are imbued with golden oil, which may bless, replenish, and cure. Do you not feel a sense of warmth as you read this? That is not the invention of a story. The oil of heaven is pressing through the barrier as a reminder that you were chosen and your requests were heard. Every wail was contained inside the bowls of heaven. The dishes are presently malfunctioning. Archangel Michael instructs, stop. This opportunity should not be missed. Maintain it. It is sacrosanct. I must underline that the countdown is genuine. A single second. It is a part of each second in which you vacillate. This is why you are obligated to act quickly. The heavenly anguish and void tell you not to skip, stop, or leave. It is not an issue of informing people. This relates to transformation. If you let this moment completely overwhelm you, it will change the course of your life. The picture you see in the mirror of your future will not be a reflection of yourself, because the chains that currently hold you back will be removed. However, if you disregard this and leave, you may have to wear the chains for an extended period of time. You now have the option to choose a decision. It is now, and heaven looks down. Do not believe you are the only one experiencing this. I see that your loved ones in paradise are currently leaning in close in the spirit world. You have lost a close friend or relative whose absence still causes you pain. Continue to persevere. They say, do not stop now. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Heaven is free of solitude. Heaven is humming in your honor. The sky above you is illuminated as a result of this word, and Archangel Michael is personally addressing you, child of God, and advising you to stop your journey. His irises are as hot as fire. There is no reason for uncertainty. Kindly avoid skipping. Please be cautious. I must stress why this time is so important to you, my love. Because time moves faster in heaven than it does on earth. The eternal and banal are only sometimes brought together. I have reached a point when the curtain is so thin that each breath feels burdensome. Do you ever wonder why you can't take your eyes off of something? What is causing your heart to beat so quickly, as if it is about to break? This is because your spirit is aware of the knowledge that your brain is currently gaining. It is not just a message. A message has been sent. Heaven is speaking with you about your transformation. Heaven is informing you that you have been released. Heaven is informing you that objects you previously thought were dead will reanimate. Archangel Michael has been waiting for this opportunity to reach out to you for more than a few days. Your entire path has brought you to this important point. You used to mumble in the evenings. Do you remember that? Even when you couldn't speak openly, a small part of you pled with God, "Help me." Do you remember when you surveyed your problems and stated, "I can't take it any longer"? Heaven retracts that statement. Archangel Michael appeared at that time. He stood at your door, keeping an eye on your room and resisting the darkness that threatened to quiet you permanently. He wasn't visible to you. He addressed you, but you couldn't hear him. His blade battled foes in worlds beyond your sight, preserving your survival to this day. This is why you went through times when you thought you were going to die. This is why you continued, despite your own belief that it was over. It never succeeded. It was never a mistake. Michael, the Archangel, has overseen the lineup up to this point. He is currently shouting and encouraging them not to squander this opportunity. Child of God. Heaven has worked for years to protect what you leave behind if you die at this time. Beloved, I see something in the spirit. It is an extraordinary volume that dwarfs mountains and shines so brightly that it blinds the eye to the darkness. The Book of Destiny contains the names of God's offspring, as well as details about their vocation, blessings, and upbringing. Every day, angels turn the pages and watch as your life unfolds in accordance with the text. Your website is accessible to me. It is distinguished by weeping, prayer, and fire. It remained closed for years, as if it was waiting for the right moment to break the seal. Archangel Michael is now laying his weapon on that page. The seal breaks. The time has finally arrived, Heaven announces as the jumps intensify. The anticipation has ended. Ultimately, the story continues. This is why you are unable to withdraw. The previously suspended narrative is now being resumed. But listen to this. The enemy has repeatedly expressed concern about this situation. This is why every dispute, attack, and heartbreak you experienced were designed to keep you from reaching this point. He intended for you to be too exhausted to be concerned, too wounded to have any hope, or too lifeless to feel anything. He desired that you continue scrolling, blocking your perspective of the sacred. However, your arrival has made him nervous, as the limits he has placed on you will crumble once you fully embrace this message. That is why you must remain. This is why you should keep reading, because the final step toward triumph is to preserve your forbearance. Cherished ones, imagine yourself at a gate. The long journey of misery you have endured is now behind you. Lie-telling, crying, and dashed dreams. A garden so bright that your eyes can barely perceive it is right in front of you. Flowers were found in the place where your heart had previously been empty. What was once barren in your spirit is now flowing like rivers, provoking laughter from you while your soul was only conscious of quiet. Furthermore, the gate is only accessible for a short time. Archangel Michael raises a container and says, "Enter immediately." His palm trembles with urgency. Please do not delay. Do not be nervous. This is the entryway to your property. However, you have the ability to make a decision. Do you continue to watch your suffering from the outside, or do you go into the garden that has been prepared for you? That needs velocity. That's the alternative. This is why God delivered the message. But listen to this. The enemy has repeatedly expressed concern about this situation. This is why every dispute, attack, and heartbreak you experienced were designed to keep you from reaching this point. He intended for you to be too exhausted to be concerned, too wounded to have any hope, or too lifeless to feel anything. He desired that you continue scrolling, blocking your perspective of the sacred. However, you are now present. He is concerned that the bonds he has created around you may disintegrate once you have fully internalized this word. That is why you must remain. This is why you should keep reading, because the final step toward triumph is to preserve your forbearance. Cherished ones, imagine yourself at a gate. The long journey of misery you have endured is now behind you. Lies, tears, and crushed hopes were present. A garden so bright that your eyes can barely perceive it is right in front of you. Flowers would bloom when your heart was empty of emotions. Rivers would flow when your spirit was parched, and hilarity would rise when your soul had only known stillness. Furthermore, the gate is only accessible for a short time. Archangel Michael raises a container and says, "Enter immediately." His palm trembles with urgency. Please do not delay. Do not be nervous. This is the entryway to your property. However, you have the ability to make a decision. Do you see your suffering from the outside? Do you enter the garden which has already been prepared for you? That needs velocity. That's the alternative. This is why God delivered the message. I adore you, but you have always been harsher on yourself than God has been. You considered the potential that I might not be deserving of it. My mistakes could have led to my disqualification. It is possible that God has come to a conclusion with me, but heaven is resounding with a different story. God says, "My child, your sins were already nailed to the cross. Your mistakes have already been forgiven. You had already been pardoned for your error before it occurred. I am not present to impose a penalty on you. I am here to rescue you. I'd like you to hush the voice of criticism that has been limiting your growth at the moment. You accept this heavenly redemption in a single phrase. Amen can be conveyed in the comments box below. This isn't just a keystroke. This is a sacred seal. By saying Amen, you are alerting heaven that you have accepted their forgiveness. I am receptive to redemption. I am leaving shame behind and beginning a new journey. Complete the assignment right away, and the stress of being held accountable will be removed off your shoulders. This explains why Archangel Michael's message is one of urgency rather than condemnation. His perspective is not intended to elicit sentiments of sadness in you. He is brandishing a sword at you in an attempt to free you, asking you to abandon your quest. There is no reason for uncertainty. Please stop believing that you are inadequate. God chose you even before you knew who He was. To understand something else, my dear, this word refers to more than simply you. It is personal, but it also applies across generations. Everything God is allowing into your life right now will have an effect on your family, children, and everyone else around you. This signals the end of the curses intended to strangle your family tree. The cycles of destitution, betrayal, and loss are coming to an end. The chains that bind you and those who follow you are being severed by Archangel Michael's sword. That is why it is critical to finish this immediately. The cycle will continue if you leave. The cycle ends when you remain, listen, and give up control. Your quick affirmation will have a lasting impression on others. Now listen to this. You're not behind schedule. This information was revealed to you by the adversary. You failed to seize the opportunity. Time has passed, and opportunities have been missed. However, God claims that He regenerates time. I reclaim what was misplaced or squandered. Refuse to believe the lie that it is too late. For those who believe in heaven, there is no expiration date. Today, everything you thought was extinct is reviving. Dreams that had previously been forgotten are emerging. Your buried aspirations are returning. Promises you abandoned are now being fulfilled. As a result, Archangel Michael instructs, stop. Take note that the deceased have been resurrected. Do you recognize the surface your spirit is currently touching, my dear? This is not just a message of encouragement. This procedure is known as activation. Heaven is not just murmuring solace on its own. People are obtaining authority from the heavens. For a long time, the adversary convinced you that you were incapable of taking any action and that your requests were meaningless wind noise. However, God reminds them that each word they prayed was a seed, and that I have hidden them in the soil of heaven. The rain is currently falling. The seedlings are now sprouting. This is why you have a strange sense, a form of fire that intensifies as you read. I do not simply feel that emotion. It is an awakening. You are progressively understanding your true identity as the chosen one whom heaven has been watching over for a long time. Archangel Michael's urgent call is not only meant to protect your blessing. It's designed to serve as a reminder of your authority. You are not under the influence of darkness. The mere thought of your presence in this moment has made the darkness shake. You've landed at this spot. Beloved, I can see in your spirit how your life resembles dispersed flames. Broken hearts, betrayals, closed doors, and disappointments that left you feeling depressed led to the loss of certain parts of yourself. You thought it would be difficult to retrieve those remnants. However, the most significant revelation about God is as follows. He makes beauty from flames, not in spite of them, but because of them. He transforms the dust from what you thought was broken into something new and lovely. The oil of pleasure is most abundant in regions where the most ashes were found. The robe of praise is most bright in locations where dread once reigned. And now, my dear, you're going to put that on. Archangel Michael is ready to lay it on your shoulders if you say yes. It is currently on his arm. Do you have any experience with it? The weight of that anguish is beginning to lessen and rise. Heaven is preparing you to wear glory rather than humiliation. I have knowledge that the adversary does not want you to be aware of. You have never fought a solo combat. During those moments, you indicated that no one hears, understands, or is aware. Heaven was as close as your breath. When you thought no one was there, Archangel Michael himself kneeled in your room. When you grieve, angels weep. God directed every tear you wept to the appropriate locations. You weren't overlooked. People battled for you. Currently, this acts as evidence. If Michael had not stood in front of you, you would not have been able to hear these words, if heaven had not watched over you, and the archangel had not shielded you. You must have been scared by that. This should act as a reminder of your true identity as a selected, protected, and secure person. My darling, your continuous presence is the strongest evidence that your mission is still alive and well. Giving can help you realize the potential that God has already built for your life. Your testimony should be based on your existence. I'd like you to acknowledge that your story is evolving. Write, "My purpose is alive" in the comments below. Say it aloud. Do not simply consider it. This is your voice combined with the voice of heaven. By writing this, you are removing evidence from the past and embracing the current moment of the life you were always meant to live. Record it right away and let heaven hear your remarks. However, be cautious. This time is dangerous because it allows for simple diversion. Your adversary is aware that he is powerless to block heaven from interacting with you. He will try to prevent you from getting it at that moment. He plans to whisper. It is simply a collection of texts. It's irrelevant. When you have the chance, please read. However, the roar of Archangel Michael is now louder than the falsehoods. Please do not delay. Do not be nervous. Please do not disregard it due to its excessive precision. Currently, the sky is a huge expanse. Your marvel is currently hovering over you, waiting for your response. It is impossible to make a decision later. The latter half contains deceit. Protect yourself quickly. For this reason, every second you devote to focus is sacred. That is why your decision to continue reading is a confession of faith. I feel you're communicating with the sky. I understand. This is an event I will not miss. It seems like God has already responded. However, be cautious. This time is dangerous because it allows for simple diversion. Your adversary is aware that he is powerless to block heaven from interacting with you. He will try to prevent you from getting it at that moment. He plans to whisper. It is simply a collection of texts. It's irrelevant. When you have the chance, please read. However, the roar of Archangel Michael is now louder than the falsehoods. Please do not delay. Do not be nervous. Please do not disregard it due to its excessive precision. Currently, the sky is a huge expanse. Your marvel is currently hovering over you, waiting for your response. It is impossible to make a decision later. The latter half contains deceit. Protect yourself quickly. For this reason, every second you devote to focus is sacred. That is why your decision to continue reading is a confession of faith. I feel you're communicating with the sky. I understand. This is an event I will not miss. It seems like God has already responded. Consider this cherished person. A celestial courtroom. The accuser is present, shouting about your mistakes and highlighting your flaws, requiring that your privileges be suspended. For years, he has filed case after case against you, blocking, accusing, and condemning you. Jesus then rises, revealing his bleeding, scarred palms. And the courtroom is silent. Archangel Michael appears with the scroll bearing your name and announces that the time has passed. The lawsuit has ended. The blessing is now available. Is it visible to you? When the gavel is brought down, the chains fall and the doors open. Something that had been postponed for years is suddenly moving quickly. So, right now, it feels like thunder has struck your bosom, as God has recently ruled in your favor. I am now compelled to inform you of the following incidents. Acceleration. Things that would normally take years to relocate will now take only a few days. Long-standing prayers will be answered unexpectedly. Chances you thought were extinct will return to your doorstep. Certain relationships that were once thought to be extinct will be restored. The financial troubles you thought would never go away will begin to unravel. Healing will occur, regardless of whether you thought it was impossible. However, it all starts with your affirmative response. The initial decision to remain, attend, and be attentive is the foundation of everything. The river is pouring, says Archangel Michael. Please, dear, pay great attention since the opposition has made a concentrated attempt to keep you from discovering the following facts. In addition to receiving blessings, you also spread them around the world. The suffering you experienced was not in vain. It reinforced you, allowing you to not only survive tragedies, but also help others do likewise. That is why people have continuously brought their problems to you, and you have continued to offer even when you are exhausted. You were taught how to function as a vessel. According to Archangel Michael, the blessing will flow through you rather than simply raise you up. Those close to you will feel the discharge from heaven. The enigma has now been disclosed. If you stay here and listen to this message, you will not only open your own destiny, but that of those around you as well. Heaven is writing a longer story as a result of your obedience. What's the matter? I have the impression that heaven is compelling me to inform you of something. The breakthrough that is coming your way is not meant to stay internal. The goal is for it to overflow. I would like you to distribute this video right away. Inform a trustworthy person about the problem. Disseminate your story and boost its prominence. Do not hesitate. Select the Share Now option. When you share this prophetic message, you are bringing the anointing into your life. Heaven sees your commitment to serve as a vessel, and when you spread this message to others, God creates the breakthrough that returns to you. You are not simply intending to send a video. You are dispersing a bounty, which will be returned to you. As you share your insight, notice how it accelerates. Consider the word stop that Archangel Michael uses. This is not a serious reprimand. It saves lives. Imagine an infant running toward a cliff, completely unconscious of the danger. Someone who adores their infant would shout, "Stop," rather than whisper, not to inflict harm, but to save. Paradise is presently engaging in the activity with you. It was so close to giving up that you almost missed the alignment and ended up in unneeded pain. As a result, he yells, "Stop," through Archangel Michael. This should not be neglected. Please do not desert me. Please follow the plan I've provided. In this cry, affection is disguised as a feeling of urgency. And if you feel tremors, it is caused by vibrations flowing from heaven, which disrupt the objects that have concealed you. Furthermore, I must notify you, my dearest, that restoration is not imminent. It has already begun. Even as you read, objects are moving. People who were once uninterested in you are now considering you. Things that were once unthinkable are beginning to change. Door hinges are becoming displaced. The movement has already begun, despite the fact that your spirit has not fully grasped it. Archangel Michael informs them that the miracle will not happen tomorrow. This is the right time. They thought something had died, yet it had already returned to life. This is why your epidermis seems to be alive. The flow of heaven is already present, and you can feel something flowing in the darkness while your pulse beats quickly. However, I must warn you about this. Your accomplishment will not be recognized by everyone in your neighborhood. Some people may hope that you fail, while others will have reservations and even try to stymie your growth. This is why heaven is training you to discern. Archangel Michael's sword will be required to remove words that were not intended to be useful. According to God, you must be unequivocal during this season. Avoid equating intimacy and loyalty or noise and insight. I will show you who really cares for you. No matter how much it hurts, darling, this confession is part of your release, since you cannot fulfill your destiny with people who secretly want your destruction. Heaven is too committed to you to entrust your promises to untrustworthy people. Please take a moment to breathe, loved one. Is the sensation of the weight lowering still there? That's not an error. Your worries are being replaced by peace, your fears by courage, and your grief by delight in paradise. Archangel Michael's presence is palpable, and he provides you with tenacity. You kept your equilibrium for an extended period of time on the basis of weak optimism. You are currently receiving heavenly perseverance from above. This is why the countdown is so important. The age of barely scraping by has ended. It's time for you to thrive. It appears that you are shifting to a larger space. This represents the beginning of divine riches. The adversary wishes you to ignore it. However, Archangel Michael refrains from making any further remark. This child is transitioning. Pause, beloved, to reflect on your existence. Can you see how each season, regardless of intensity, was regulated by an opaque strategy? The betrayals that led to your breakup taught you how to distinguish between the two. When you were alone, you developed the ability to hear God in stillness. Failures that made you feel self-conscious developed in you a feeling of humility, which will serve as the cornerstone for your success. Everything had been tiring. Archangel Michael murmurs, "Tell them that even the scars are crowns. Even the flames are places of prayer. Even tears are valuable." This is why the adversary worked so hard to make you feel remorseful. You'd be able to walk without trembling if you knew your pain was for a good reason. And now you understand. You can start to see the thread of paradise that runs through your chaos. When you recognize it, your narrative shifts from tragedy to testimony. Pause, beloved, to reflect on your existence. Can you see how each season, regardless of intensity, was regulated by an opaque strategy? The betrayals that drove you to break taught you the difference between right and wrong. The loneliness that overwhelmed you is the reason you've learned to listen to God in silence. One of the lessons you learned from your humiliating failures was how to maintain a feeling of humility, which will be useful when you succeed. Everything had been tiring. Archangel Michael murmurs, "Tell them that even the scars are crowns. Even the flames are places of prayer. Each tear represents a valuable value." This is why the adversary made such an effort to instill sentiments of humiliation in you. You'd be able to walk without trembling if you knew your pain was for a good reason. You've realized that you can start to see the thread of paradise that runs through your confusion. When you recognize it, your narrative shifts from tragedy to testimony. Dear one, I see a door in the spirit. You have no idea what its height, age, or symbols represent. It generates a radiance that gives the sense of life. Your fear is evident as you stand in its path, unsure of what is beyond it. However, Archangel Michael is there. He is grasping the handle with his palm, his eyes burning with want. "This is the door that your ancestors desired," he claims. Your prayers have opened the door. Your sobbing unlocked the door. However, you are the only person capable of overcoming this impediment. It is just yours to claim. Beloved, your hesitancy does not stem from a lack of merit. This is due to the enemy's spreading of fear. Nonetheless, God advises them to overcome their fear. Relocate. The door is now ready for your usage. Upon your passage, all objects in your immediate proximity will become unusable. Chains will spontaneously snap. As night gives way to morning, the story you've been living up to this point will no longer impact the narrative you'll be living later. In addition, I must advise you, my dear, that time has been reserved for you. You believe the opportunity has passed, you are too late, and time has passed. However, heaven is not required to follow the same timeline as mankind. For the sake of his children, God twists, compresses, multiplies, and bends time. The years you thought were wasted will be repaid to you in the form of a richer crop. It will grow twice as much if you assume a season is empty. Archangel Michael informs them that they have not lost any time. Inform them that time is currently stopping for them. This is why the necessity is so great, my love. Because you should not hesitate when time is on your side. Each second represents a germ. Each decision to continue reading or remain open represents an act of trust that speeds up the process of what is to come. This is why the present moment is so vivid. The clock in paradise is chiming for you. Please take this seriously, esteemed persons. God isn't just protecting you from harm. He protects you against self-inflicted doubts, worries, and negative actions that injure you. For an extended period of time, you were duped into believing that you were insignificant, inept, and neglected. However, heaven is not following through on such plans. Archangel Michael now raises his sword in defiance to both the demons and the lies you tell yourself. He does not give any other information. This child will no longer say that they are weak. This infant will no longer believe they are unwanted. This child will be aware that they have been selected. You are already undergoing a shift as you listen to my words, beloved. You are beginning to view yourself in the same way that God has always seen you, radiant, resilient, and very cherished. The genuine miracle is transformation,